Good morning and welcome back to another Westies Angling. You're joining me and my dad today. He's over there getting himself set up down here at German Lane Fishery in Chorley for the continuation of the cold water coarse fishing series, where we're trying to bag ourselves a big winter commercial perch. Now, if you've been following the series, you'll know that so far we've been unsuccessful. So I've gone back to basics. I've tied up a very simple cage feeder rig, and I'm going to be fishing that with ground bait and maggots, literally just maggots on the hook. I think that's going to give us our best chance really of catching anything that swims, and we'll just plug away, get through the small fish, get through the silvers. I'm happy to catch them as well, so we'll just have to see how we get on. The rig that I've tied up for the cage feeder is extremely simple, and any of you will be able to replicate it at home. All it is a simple running cage feeder rig. So I've got a little running snap swivel on there, and I've tied on a buffer bead, a quick change buffer bead with a simple figure of 8 loop knot. And what that little loop knot does is it helps set the hook, but the running bead can slip over the top of it, so it is a safe rig. Now, you'll have to forgive me if it's dark on the camera. I think it's just going to be one of them winter days today where it just never gets light, and we've got a storm coming in later. So if you hear blustery winds, that's why we're due a storm. I don't know how long we're going to be able to stick it out today, but it is the last session of 2024. It is New Year's Eve today, believe it or not, so happy New Year for everybody watching. So hopefully, folks, either me or Papa West is rewarded with a nice size commercial perch today. Dad's fishing on the float. I'll run you through his setup very quickly, but he's just fishing a normal waggler on worms and on maggots. We've really gone back to basics today. I've even taken my 1.5 ounce tip off the Guru Engage feeder rod, and I've swapped that for a 1 ounce tip, when it's very rare that I do that. If my voice sounds rough today, folks, I do apologise. It's because I'm still not well. I've got a horrible throat condition and I just can't seem to shake it for whatever reason. Been to the doctors a number of times about it, and they're still on. We're trying to figure out what it is, but there we go. We still need to get out here. We still need to do the filming. In my ground bait mix, I'm using my Sweet Eclipse ground bait, and I've also obviously got maggots in that. But what I've also done to really give that ground bait a boost is I put some of my pure insect proteins in. Got that mixed up this morning while it was still coming light. I might put the sleeper rod out today. I've got it set up just in case I want to put the method feeder out if I'm really struggling, but I did want to really concentrate on bagging as many fish on the feeder rod as I can, so I might do that a bit later on. It's no harm getting that out there on a sleeper rod with a bigger wafter, so we don't pick up any little runs off small fish. It'd just be a carp that'd be able to take that, so I might do that in a bit. Look, folks, we've got to be in it to win it. Let's get into the video. Let's see what we managed to get today. I'm still trying to decide whether I put the method feeder out or not. Let's do it. Let's get a method feeder out towards the middle on a pink wafter, and we can just leave it, can't we? I'm going to go with my 2mm high attract contrast method feeder pellets, which are a light and dark pellet. I'm really not going to need many of these for the session, so I'm just going to put some of them in there, cover them with water, leave them for 5 minutes, but the smell coming off them is absolutely amazing. Oh. There we go. Give them a mix up, bit more water. Look, folks, I can eyeball it, but I recommend obviously use a pellet wetter or do the bag method that I've showed you how to use, but I can eyeball it how much water I actually need to soak. So I'm going to leave them, and they'll absorb that water and they'll be perfect, I promise. So this ground bit mix is perfect now. That's ready to go. Forgotten my towel, not ideal. I've actually got some different size feeders with me, folks. This is a fairly big one to start off with because I want to get the feed out there, and I'm going to be fishing over there towards that island. Not tight to it, but just off it. And I want to make sure that I'm getting a load of maggots in the feeder there to start off with. And I'm going to go with a couple of maggots on the hook. Now when I swap to worm, I'll obviously swap the hook length to something bigger. That's why I've used the quick change buffer bead. Let's go with 3 maggots because we kind of want to single out the bigger fish. I'm going to have to be careful where I'm casting because I've got a tree above me here, folks, so that's why these short rods are ideal. I'm hoping this feeder rig is going to be tangle free. Should have tied a bit of a twizzle boom section in, I think, but oh no, God. Right, we're going to struggle here because of that tree behind me, but I might have to stand up to cast every time. There we go. About 3/4 of the way to the island there. And what the lighter tip does here, folks, as I've said, I've changed the 1.5 ounce for a 1 ounce, is it allows you to tighten to the feeder better without actually dragging the feeder. So if you can see that, I've still got a nice aggressive bend in the tip, which is what you want. Obviously when you're fishing a running rig like this, you will have to lift into it to actually fully sink that hook in, but the initial prick comes from the tip or that little knot, as I've said. Keeping an eye on that. I'm just going to stir these pellets through. You can see that they're starting to absorb all that water. You're going to have to deal with this first person point of view today because I can't get bank stick camming anywhere. The ground's too hard here at this fishery. So I recommend if you're coming trying this fishery and you want to fish method feeders, make sure you bring your rod pod with you. I will link the address for this fishery in the description. I always do that in case people were wondering where I'm fishing. So any aggressive twitches we want to be lifting into here on the cage feeder, folks, for the beginners. Whereas on the method feeder, you're waiting for your tip to go right round and obviously you get the full weight of the feeder hitting the fish so it sets the hook. Whereas you're only getting the resistance from the tip here, so you might get a little bit of a prick, but you won't set the hook fully and the fish can shake it out. So when this tip starts bouncing, that means that a fish is usually trying to shake that hook and you've got a little bit of a prick there, so you've already pretty much hooked that fish. You just need to lift into it lightly, which is enough to set these little hooks. Obviously if you want to be a professional, you should put your ground bait through the riddle, but to be honest with you folks, I'm not that professional. I've never found that it matters too much. I just break it up with my hands and that takes out all the bigger lumps. So I want to be building up a bit of a better bait here. It's a shame that I can't cast out while I'm sat down. I might have to move my chair around. Got a tree right above me here, which makes it difficult. So Dad has treated himself to the updated version of the Capellan feeder chair from Decathlon, ain't you, Dad?
Yeah.
8 to 9 quid in a sale.
Yeah.
Splashed out.
Yeah, splashed out. Only the finest.
Nothing wrong with it though, is there?
Actually, no, I'm well impressed. Yeah, very impressed. For the money,
yeah.
I don't think you can get
The only thing that draws it back is the weight of it, but other than that, it's fine. Most people use barras and stuff like that anyway, don't they? So.
Yeah.
How are you fishing it today, Dad? What are you doing?
Fishing float to those sunken sort of trees, branches and that.
It's just using a little waggler there.
So I'm just fishing a little waggler, about 6 inches over depth, decent size hook, prawn, worms. I'm trying.
Yeah. What are you doing there? Chopping up worms?
Chopping up a few worms. I've chopped up a few, 3 or 4 prawns and
put them in as well. So today he's got his float shotted right down, whereas last time he was using bigger baits and he had a more buoyant float on, but he's fishing a bit finer today. We've scaled down a bit for this session, haven't we, Dad?
Yeah, I've only got...
Just trying something different.
4-pound line straight through. I just hope it's strong enough.
They say it depends on the fishery whether they like cooked prawns or uncooked prawns, which is weird, isn't it?
Right, I've gone for the...
You've gone for the uncooked today?
Uncooked.
He's splashed out begrudgingly.
Yeah, king prawns, you know.
Raw and peel king prawn.
£5 a bag then.
Yeah, I know, they're not cheap. So I will show you today if my dad catches anything as well, or anything decent. So that's first chuck. Not had anything on that, but sometimes can take a little while for the silvers to find the feed. And obviously when you've drawn the silvers in, that's when the perch or carp might come in. So we'll get this back out and then we'll get the method feeder out. Right, bait runner on, Westys wafter on. Now, I never really do great for carp here at German Lane, but I know people that do well for carp. I think you need to know the fishery. I think they come out in certain spots, and we only ever really fish these two pegs, so try different pegs really. I think it's good around this corner here, around this side, but you tend to gravitate towards islands and stuff, don't you, when you're fishing for some reason. I've got some Coca scope glaze here as well for the method feeder. And as you can see, these pellets are absolutely perfect, ready to go on the method feeder. I really don't need the glaze in this situation because the smell coming off them is mental, but it just helps bring fish from the upper layers of the water. When you put it on the method feeder like that, it comes off on the way down, and I think it can draw fish down with it. That's my theory anyway. Could be utter rubbish, but makes sense. So I'm going to go out towards the middle. I can't see anybody else turning up today with the storm that's coming in, so I'm not bothered about casting across pegs. So we're in the middle there. Right, we just leave that. That's the sleeper rod. So I'll probably move it every hour, something like that, hour, 2 hours, something like that. And we might just get the odd couple of bonus fish. Obviously you'll have seen the fish that my dad caught on his sleeper rod on the last session. It was the biggest fish that he'd had all year. So shows you that it's worth having one out. No twitches on the cage feeder yet that I've seen. I'm in on the method feeder, folks. The pink wafter. Save the blank on the sleeper rod. These are the kind of fish I was trying to avoid on it though. Little skimmer on the Coca scope pellets. Brilliant. Just shows you though, I've had absolutely nothing on the cage feeder for the first half an hour. Put the method feeder out and I'm straight in on the pellets. You should be getting a bite of chuck on maggots really. So it shows you how effective they are. And I love this light and dark contrast on the method feeder as well. I think it works really well. That went in like a bullet, Westy. We're a bit eager on the cast. Just really hard casting in the swim, folks. So if I'm making some dodgy casts today, that's why. Might have to underarm them. I actually had a fella message me the other day and he'd had a 2.5 pound perch on one of my pink wafters, on the original pink wafters. Just shows you, I should just stick to the method feeder, folks. Stick to what I know best. A little bit of information for the disabled anglers out there as well. You can actually park right next to your peg here at German Lane. So nice easy access, you can drive straight up. There's no walking involved. I think it's reasonably cheap for a day ticket as well. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I'd have to watch my review back. It's so funny because I actually had to Google the postcode to be able to get here this morning because I'd forgotten where it is. I visit that many fisheries that I couldn't remember where it was. And my videos were actually linked to the profile of German Lane, which is absolutely crazy. Obviously that's amazing to see, and it really helps me out as well when Google links my videos to fisheries because they get a lot more views that way, and hopefully they help you guys out as well. God, it's dark today, dark and blustery. I'm actually really impressed with this as well. This is under 15 quid, I think, folks, this scoop net, and it's just an NGT one, but really wide, get decent sized carp in them, and it's really easy netting because they're not deep. So I'll put a link to these in the description for you. I know quite a few people ask me about those, and that's reasonably new to me, but I'm impressed with it so far. Very, very cheap for a landing net. Right, I'm actually going to swap for a little maggot feeder on this. Rig's tangle free, which is what I like to see. And you can see with this little running snap swivel, it's nice and easy to just change up. And you can put a bit of ground bait in these maggot feeders as well. It does seep out through the holes. Just don't pack them tight. Let's put some fresh maggots on there. Let's go with double red. But I should really be getting bites on maggots, folks. It's tough, this. I should have had at least something on the maggots by now. And I'll show you that the ground bait does come out of these maggot feeders. I think I've got more rope on the sleeper rod today. The owner has just been round for the money, and it's 6 quid for a day ticket here. And we'll see if this slightly smaller feeder makes any difference. Just had my first bit of a bite there, folks. We've got a fish on here. We might do. Yep. It's a swinger, that's for sure. It's not a netter. Roach. So that's 1-0 to the feeder, and the maggot feeder at that. So I wonder if it's just that slightly smaller feeder that's helped. There you go. And you can see all that ground bait's come out of that maggot feeder as well, so you can put ground bait in them. These are those cheap ground bait and maggot feeders. I might get some of these for the website. But just standard ones, you can get them anywhere. You don't have to buy expensive feeders, folks, because if you're anything like me, they end up in a tree half the time anyway. No, I'm only joking. This wind's picking up. I can feel a couple of drops of rain. I think we'll get a good 4 or 5 hours of fishing, hopefully, before it starts to tip it down. Well, hopefully a shoal of roach has moved onto the spot, because as I said before, that'll bring the perch in with any luck. And when I've got those roach actively feeding, I'll then swap the hook bait to a worm, which will stop the roach taking it, but it'll allow any perch in the swim to take it. And it's just that swapping between hook baits, that's all you can really do to single out the bigger fish. Obviously always chance of a winter carp or something like that, and I think I'm fishing heavy enough to be able to get them in. It's very snaggy here at German Lane though, around the islands, so if a carp gets you into the islands, you'd have no chance really. Even fishing heavy tackle in summer, it's quite difficult to get them away from them snags. There you go, Dad, your first pack, well, half a pack, because I've used some of them, of the WestysAngling contrast pellets. Give them a smell. Let's have a smell. Smell test. Bear in mind, my dad has no sense of smell whatsoever.
Oh, I can smell them.
Yeah, they're strong.
Very creamy.
Yeah, cocoscope.
Yeah.
You keep them, Dad. That's a present.
No, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We'll go towards
the day ticket.
go towards the £50 Wigan card, the £10 of maggots, the £6.50 of worms, and the 12 quid day ticket.
Well, what's the point?
Like
Yeah, but getting you out of the house, Dad, that's priceless, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, this wind. We are mental coming out today. Typical WestysAngling weather, folks. Miserable. But the show must go on, as they say. Whether I'm ill, whether it's windy, whether it's raining, got to get the content. Getting a few little tiny twitches. No positive indications though. Must be very, very, very small fish. I think you only really get positive indications when there's a tiny bit of a prick from the hook. And lifting up into it is literally just setting that hook. Let's recast. So maggots in there. Maggots and ground bait, maggots and ground bait. Cap on. Stick with them maggots, they're still alive. In fact, no, let's not be lazy, let's change them. It might take us an hour or so of consistent fishing in this spot to get them silvers in and competing. Let's put bait runner on there. Let's recast the method. I think the mechanism that clicks the bait runner has gone on this reel. It's Daiwa Eagle reel, but they've been alright. Obviously I put them through a lot of heavy use. I'll have a go there, and then I might try over to the island with the method feeder. Again, I'm always keeping an eye on the tip of my feeder rod, even though the bait runner's on. Always looking at it. Dad's just had a roach, finally. Something messing with this. Little tiny, tiny twitches. Just waiting for something more positive. Keep the coffee topped up. Now you might be wondering why I've mixed up a full bag of ground bait for this session. What I probably will do is I'll just freeze the rest of it for a river session. Oh, are we in? Oh, that was a really positive bite as well. Yeah, they're definitely towards the right hand side. So let's try and get it back there. And I think they want the red maggots as well. A little roach. Very, very, very simple fishing this, folks. But sometimes it can lead to something better. Just means working at it. It's absolutely freezing. Bit of a twitch there, folks. There's definitely a specific spot out there where I'm getting bites much quicker. There we go, that's a little bit of a tug. So that was a good bite. Oh, have I missed that? Shouldn't have missed that, folks. Oh my god, folks, this wind is really picking up. But I just want to interrupt this video here to tell you about this week's giveaway. So this week, for one lucky winner, I'll be giving away a bag of Sweet Eclipse ground bait and some of my new Cocoscope contrast method feeder pellets. And all you need to do to be in with a chance of winning is make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you've commented on this video, and give me a follow on the WestysAngling Facebook or Instagram page. Dad's just tackling back up because if you can see that little orange dot over there, that's his float in the tree. How many fish have you had now, Dad?
Just the one.
He's just had one little roach. I've probably had 5 or 6 of them little roach now, all the same sort of size, and that little skimmer on the sleeper rod as well. So a tough day's fishing on the maggots, really, isn't it, Dad?
Yeah.
We should be getting a lot more fish than this. I've obviously just missed a really positive bite as well, which was probably a slightly bigger fish. Whether that was a bite or whether it was a big liner, I don't know. But yeah, Dad's just sorting himself back out. He's put his £6 line on rather than 4, which I told him to do straight away, but he doesn't listen to the Padawan.
The trouble with that is...
Oh, he's blaming it on the tree now.
No, well, there's a lot of them branches that they're coming this way.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Yeah, they do. It's really snaggy around this island, but I think that's where the perch will be, Dad, so you're in the right spot.
Yeah, the wind just caused it, that's all.
Did it?
Yeah.
Wasn't your bag casting right like that?
Of course it was.
Right, let's get this maggot feeder back out and see if we can get a few more. I want to get it back on that same spot if I can. That's a better cast, that's perfect. That's where I want it. Well, a set of young lads have just turned up that follow the channel, which is awesome. So just give them a keyring each and some wafters to try. Great seeing you all on the bank, and don't be scared of coming over saying hello. You guys are more important than the filming.
Mission accomplished.
I mean, if I go really close and we kind of cut your hand out and we enlarge it, we might be able to get it to look 2 or 3 pounds. It looks like it's going to be a big fish when it gets bigger though. It's the right shape. I just had a bit of a drop back on the sleeper rod then. We'll give it a minute. Sometimes the bites, especially from carp, can be really tentative at this time of year. They won't rage off with the method feeder like they normally do, and they can barely hook themselves because they're feeding very gently. Whereas in summer, what you'll find is the carp will hook themselves better because they're moving between patches of bait, and it's that moving off with the bait that really sets the hook, in my opinion. Well, I've just spent 5 or 10 minutes with the lads, giving them a couple of little tips. Not that I'm an expert, but there you go. Honestly, don't mind helping people if they're polite. Decent sized carp crash out there, actually. Let's try there. Oh, that's been in about 30 seconds, that. I've just had another roach bite. Oh, look at what my dad has caught. He's done it. Looks like a good perch. Come on, hold it up, Dad.
Tell it perch we're jaggering about.
Look at that. This is what we've come here for, but
To get
bigger.
bigger.
Pound?
No.
Not quite.
Maybe, no, maybe 10 inch maybe.
Still a nice perch, Dad. Well, my dad's just had his perch on a worm, so I'm going to try a worm on this cast, but we'll have to tie on a bigger hook and a new hook length. So I've got some Corum all-rounder feeder hooks, size 10. Love the Corum all-rounder, it's my favourite pattern of hook. And I'm just going to whip that on, which is hard in the wind. Always recommend you tying your hook lengths up beforehand, but sometimes if you want to be versatile, you've got to tie him up on the bank. Oh, he's got the big perch in the swim. Just shows you've got to work at it. That's 2 big perch on the bounce. Oh, that is a nice one as well. Go on, Dad, get it in. It's actually a little bit smaller than the last one, I think, maybe. Well in, Dad. I think you're right, Dad. I think that's actually marginally bigger. Marginally. Awesome fish, though.
Anyway, literally 5 seconds.
Put up a good scrap, that, on the light tackle, didn't it? Yeah. So my dad literally just said, where there's one, there'll be more. And that pretty much took it on the drop. So I think it's my turn to go on the worm. But this is what we've come for. And Papa West has come up trumps today on the float. So I'm just going to swap that maggot rig out for this bigger hook, and we'll try a worm tipped with maggot, which is what my dad's has got those perch on. Thankfully the rain hasn't come in yet, but we're expecting it anytime soon. So let's put a worm on. So I'm just gonna hook it through like that. I'm going to tip that with a maggot, which just keeps the worm back away from the tip of the hook. And we're going to fill it up as normal. We'll get it back out there, and with a bit of luck, these bigger perch are on the feed. I'll get one as well, but they shoal up, so potentially my dad's got the shoal of them in his swim there, so might not be the case. And I'm led to believe they get a lot bigger than that in here as well. But you really can't argue with the stamp of those perch. You'd be happy with them on a spinner or anything. Come on, Westy. I need to get one now. Been doing a lot of faffing about today and not much consistent fishing. And at this time of year, you really need to be consistent and on it. You need to be watching for every little movement. Be active with your fishing, feeding small amounts of ground bait and maggots consistently. It's ideal conditions. Like I said, it's not even really got light today. It's been dusky and gloomy like this all day, which is perfect. No rain, and it's not rained for a couple of days, so that's what you want. That's good perch conditions. Rain can put the perch off. All predator fish. In my opinion, that's because the visibility of the water decreases. We're in on the sleeper rod and it's come off. Another bream, I think. You're missing all these little tips from my dad, folks. What he's been doing on the float, if he's had a knock or any kind of movement and it goes quiet, he's just been twitching the worm, and he reckons that has produced him a couple of bites. Just put a little bit more movement into that worm, because what perch will probably do is they're very lazy. They'll probably sit watching it, and it might just entice them that little bit to pick it up. So for those of you that are wondering how I pick the winners for the giveaways, about 2 weeks after the video launches, I usually pick somebody at random from the comments. I'll check that. I'll add into something big here. Oh my god, that's massive. I'll check that you're subscribed to the channel, and I'll pin your comment and I'll tell you that you've won, and then get you to contact me on the Facebook or Instagram page or via email. It's just hooked in the corner of the mouth, Dad. Oh, yeah? Yeah, literally. Wow. And this, folks, that my dad's has caught is a monster, and I think it's worth weighing. Good couple of pound, that, maybe bigger. Look at this perch, folks, that my dad's has caught. My god, look at the belly on it. So we've just weighed it. It's just £2. What a beautiful perch. I think there'd be some out there that'd say that was bigger, Dad, but we've weighed it accurately. What a perch. Well done, Dad. We knew they'd be bigger down there, didn't we? So we've done it. Yet. Yeah. So I'm calling that a success for the cold water commercial series for this year. What a beauty. Are you happy with that, Dad? Yeah. Is it a PB?
No, it's not a PB. I've had a
little bit bigger.
2.5.
Beauty. Well done, Dad. Well, I can't bleeding catch anything because I'm too busy videoing all my dad's fish. That's my excuse. I'm going to go with a Medusa rig of maggots. So he just twitched it again, he's just told me, and he got that take. So there might be some method in that madness. Another bream, another small skimmer, I think, on the sleeper rod. Let's get this unhooked, get it back out. How did I miss that? I just missed a proper bite then. That's 2 good bites. I missed that, messing about with sleeper rod. Damn it. Could have been another bream, to be fair. Let's get the Quorum Neoteric waterproofs on. Looks like one of the young lads is into a fish. Probably a carp. I give him some original F1 wafters to try. And I think that's on one of those. Carp might be on the opposite side where it's a bit more sheltered. What was that on?
Your Westies wafters like you gave me.
On one of them pink ones that I've just given you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just in corner, shot off.
That's a beast, isn't it? It's definitely a double.
Yeah.
Well, chuff with that. Have you got some scales with you?
No.
Do you want me to wait for you?
Sure.
Have you got does this come off? No. Okay. Let's wait in the sling. Oh, that's a beast.
That's what I was saying. He's
Well
been
done.
eating a lot of my ground bait.
This weighs about £2, so it's probably just over 10.
Oh,
Nice fish that. What's your name?
Jaden.
Well done, Jaden. Nice fish that, pal. On the Westies wafters as well.
Yeah, on the
Epic.
big ones that he gave me. That's it,
Well done. Well, he's in again. Looks like the carper on the opposite side. On the Westies wafters. Happy days. Chuffed to bits with that. I gave him some of the original pink ones to try, and the lad put them on and he's in. Well folks, I think it's one of them days where I film everybody else's fish. I don't believe it. My dad's in again. That might even be bigger. Can't believe it, Dad. That's bigger. No, it's not. It's not as big.
What were you saying the other day about I've peaked past my best?
I told you, it's because I put you in the best swim. Look at that. Another beauty, folks. He's obviously on the perch, but he's got a little technique there that's working for him, which is twitching the worms. What's that? Perch number 5? Yeah, it is. No, because you had that little one as well. It's 5 perch today. 3 of a decent size. So my dad's just been gloating. He said, oh, I'm sick of catching these little perch now. I'm going to put a big prawn on, try and catch a big one, and he cast it straight into the tree. And he's just had to pull for a break. I shouldn't laugh, but it's what he gets for gloating. Funny. Well, this rain is coming down now. I think the carp are probably following the wind today because it's a fairly mild wind. It's probably pushing them towards that far bank. And I think obviously my dad's got all these perch competing in his swim. And perch do shoal up together, so the majority of the perch are probably going to be down there. Because he's fishing float close in, he's able to introduce more maggots than I am. I mean, obviously I could put a bigger maggot feeder on, or a bigger cage feeder, which I might actually do now, but even still, handballing them out, you can get quite a bed of them going, and I think that's really brought them perch in today. But the hook bait that he's getting them on is worm. This is a better fish. I wonder if it's a bream. Whatever it is, it's what's been attacking the feeder. Yeah, bream. Well, at least I know what's been giving these bites. I actually fouled up this one as well. Can't even count it. Well, the bream have well and truly moved in. I've had 3 or 4 skimmers on the bounce, similar size to that last one. They must have pushed the roach out. Either that or the roach are still in the swim, but obviously because I'm using more maggots and a bigger hook, I'm just not getting the roach. Dad seems to have slowed down on the perch. He's not had one since that last one, but he's missed a couple of bites. Feels like maybe a better bream. Don't know what this is. Better bream, carp. Little ghosty, I think. Well, I don't know whether I've just got this take on camera or not because the GoPro died, but just nice little fish to end on. Little ghosty. Parrot though. His mouth's a bit deformed. Oh my god, look at it. That is really deformed. It's like it's blowing us a kiss. How is it even managing to eat? Look, its mouth is completely sealed up. Ooh. What a freak of nature. Must have to eat through a straw. Well, it's been the Papa West show today to end the year off. Said it's about time we had a decent day. Well, Pops, you've not had a bad session there, have you?
Try to give me an heart attack. No, it's been all right.
You've had a good few nice perch.
I've missed 4 or 5 good bites as well. Had a good bite on prawn.
To be fair, I probably missed some really good bites on feeder as well. I don't know what it is.
But I mean, none of them perch with deep roots or anything.
No,
They're all
just in
white
the corner of the mouth.
So whether they're just not really feeding confidently,
Yeah, probably not taking it as aggressively as.
they're just snatching at the bait.
I think what you've been doing with twitching the bait has really helped.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the last cast, it had been in a while, and I twitched it that way, and I had a good bite maybe a couple of minutes later.
Yeah.
So it's definitely goading them into attacking the worms.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you ever watch videos of perch, they're always sat back off either off the lure or off the thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they kind of watch it.
Yeah,
And when it gets that kind of movement in it, that's when they aggressively
sort of like
they aggressively take it. Yeah, they do. They pounce and engulf it in. Bit of a twitch there. But this is our last session of the year, isn't it, Dad?
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. I don't think we can fit another session in.
No, can't. Yeah. And guess what? It's raining again.
It's always raining on the channel, folks.
It certainly has for 24. I certainly hope 2025 is a dry year.
It's put some rain down this year, hasn't it?
I'm getting rusty.
Yeah. What do you think about the 2024 year in terms of fishing? Anyway, it's been a fairly tough year, hasn't it?
It has been a tough year. Right through. We've had some atrocious wet weather.
Yeah.
You know, temperatures all over the place, even right through summer and that. We've not been able, well, certainly around here, we've not been able to string more than 2 days of nice weather together.
No, definitely not. But we've still managed some nice fish in the year, haven't we, Dad?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
I don't think we've done as well as we've done in previous years.
No, we haven't.
In general. But I think we've been doing different things. We've been trying different things. And
I've enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, and when you're trying all different types of disciplines, it's like jack of all trades, master of none, isn't it?
You need to be doing it for a few sessions.
Yes, of course.
To just get your head round it and perfect it.
Like, for example, me trotting on the river and stuff like that. Don't forget, I'd never done that before. So that was really exciting for me and really enjoyable for me to try something new. And I've done really well at it, haven't I?
Yeah, yeah.
Had some nice grayling sessions. I've had some really good chub sessions. So I must say, I've really enjoyed the 2024 year, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and some new challenges. So why don't you tell us in the comments, challenge us to something. What would you like to see in 2025?
Nothing too hard.
No, yeah, nothing too hard. Oh, you missed it. So folks, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you comment to be in with a chance of winning this week's giveaway. And we'll see you in 2025, won't we, Dad?
Yeah. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, folks.